Woo! Let's go. Another episode of the CockyCulo show. In studio, we have not David, not John. We have Just Call Me Jeff.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah, of course.
Now, you work nights.
Yes, sir. I do.
It is, it's after 5.
Yeah, it's 5:30.
5:30 at night.
Yeah.
And you stopped by before you're going to work tonight.
Yes, sir.
Dude,
yeah.
much appreciation.
Yeah, I'll be working all night, and then I'll be there till probably about noon tomorrow, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to suck. I was there till like 11 a day.
What do you do?
I work construction, so I'm a superintendent for a commercial construction company. My company specializes in grocery store and medical facilities, like the big thing they do. They'll do odds and ends on outside of that spectrum, but for the most part, they focus on the grocery and the medical building.
Nice. And you guys are busy?
We're extremely busy.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys need any workers?
Always.
Okay.
We're always hiring, so hit me up if you want a job.
Just call me Jeff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said, I appreciate you coming in before work, man. Now, we've been trying to get this together for a while, though. We've been talking about it, and you're like, hey, dude, like, I want to come on. I got stuff to talk about, and I follow you on Instagram, and you're always I've noticed a few things about your page. You always post motivational stuff, like, shut up, bitch, and get out there and do it.
Yep.
Not like that, hey, here's a hug.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah, no. You keep it real. Love that. Number 2, I love how you post like your on the line content sometimes. Because like there's sometimes I'm like, damn, bro, I wouldn't even post that shit.
Yep.
Like, shit, you're gonna get some flack for that.
Hey, and you know what's crazy about that is a couple years ago on my Facebook, I used to have people fighting, arguing all the time. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, hey, these people are pissed. Do
you get a sense of enjoyment?
Sometimes.
Does it get like a shot, like a dopamine shot or
almost, yeah, that little ego boost.
Yeah.
You're like, I fucking got you.
Top, look at me.
Yeah,
causing
exactly.
Shit.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I've had statuses on Facebook a couple years ago go to like over 1,000 comments of people fucking arguing.
Wow.
Yeah, like literally just, I mean, it doesn't get that bad anymore because everybody kind of knows, like, they're like, oh, this guy just kind of goats you into it. And so now I just post shit and people usually comment whatever. I try not to instigate too much because it's not worth my time. I'm too busy now, to sit there on my phone and argue, But, yeah, some shit I'm like, should I post that to my close story or should I just fucking
send it?
Fucking send it, yeah.
Now, have you ever wanted to post something to like your close or friends on your story, but you posted to the main? You're like, and then didn't realize it until people were commenting. You were like, oh shit.
So what's funny is a couple years ago, it started as an argument about addiction. And I actually got death threats about it.
Wow.
And this is a couple years ago. First time I posted it, it was the argument was addiction's a choice, not a disease. And I've been through addiction and stuff like that. And
I think I remember that.
Dude, people lost their shit. I literally had ladies, like older ladies, in my fucking DMs going, I hope you fucking die from addiction. You don't know what it's like. And I'm like, bitch, I know exactly what it's like.
Right.
I've literally battled addiction at an early age, And the fact that people are so unwilling to, view somebody else's opinion and they go to, oh, I hope you die, that blew my mind.
See, God, it's we've gotten to an era where half of society has never gotten a fist to their fucking face.
That's a fact.
And it's the younger generation of kids.
Mm-hmm.
My son's in high school, and he comes home, and every day I ask him, how was school? Was there any fights? I ask 2 questions.
Yep.
Good? No. And I'm like, damn, bro. Like
a fight every day at my school, 3 or 4.
Bro,
yeah.
like what kind of school are you going to, man? We used to throw it down all the time.
Bro, they beat up the fucking vice principal in my high school.
Wow.
Yeah, like you got hit with a crutch.
Where the hell did you go to school at?
I went to Centennial.
Okay, Corona.
Yeah, in Corona.
Right.
They had a riot and so that a couple guys took it upon themselves as their
Corona's
opportunity.
Not even that bad though.
Like no, not like that. Like,
dude.
Yeah, a couple kids got hit with rubber bullets. I mean, yeah, the cops had to like lock the whole damn place down.
When did you graduate?
I was supposed to graduate 07. I got my GED in 06, I believe.
Fuck, dude, I graduated 10 years before you.
That's my sister's. Yeah, you were my sister's age. Yeah.
God, you know, it's like every year too. It's like I get older and older. It's like when they ask you to put your birth date in, it's got the little wheel selector, and I'm like, I'm like,
that's how I feel. I did something earlier. I can't remember what I signed up for, but yeah, spinning that wheel, and I'm like, damn, I really am getting old. And it started at 2007, and I'm still scrolling down back into the 80s. You know, so it's like,
as you get older, do you feel like your mind is getting younger? Like, do you feel like you're not even in your full like element yet? Like, you haven't even really been born yet. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like I have so much more potential that's about to come out versus up to this point.
yeah, and it's funny. I've had that conversation with people a lot. Actually, it's if you look back 10 years, like if you would have told me I'd be sitting where I'm sitting right now, not necessarily in this room, but
in the porn trailer.
Yeah, in the porn trailer, exactly, casting couch.
Right.
But if you'd have told me that I'd think the way that I think today, 10 years ago, I would never believe you. I'd have told you to fuck off. You're out of your mind. You know what I mean? Like, and just the maturity and the growth that's happened even over the last 2 years for me. You know. It's
Mine's
crazy.
been 6 months,
dude. Yeah, it's just wow. I learned something new about myself this month, you know, and it just alters your entire state of being almost, you know, and it's a crazy fact to think of, to go that far deep into it. But like I said, I look back and it's like I was still partying, you know, 2.5 years ago hard, you know, and it's like in 2.5 years, I've lost a bunch of weight. My entire mind shift's changed. I feel like I'm a better dad. I feel like a better employee at work. I feel like I'm a better friend. You know what I mean? And it's just all those little choices that add up to, you know, huge results. So
right. Well, let's talk about your addiction. What was your poison?
Man, I had a few throughout the years. I mean, I started smoking meth when I was 14 years old, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. So
was that what you were around, family or friends? Like what? How did you get started on that?
It was definitely friends, not my family. My family's amazing, you know what I mean? And it's and the shit I put them through during that time sucks, you know, and I have to atone for that. And but yeah, it was definitely friends, you know, sitting in a garage one day and someone's like, here, hit this. I got foil and a straw, and I was like, all right, fuck it. And then you hit it, and I was like, oh fuck, this is cool, you know, like
wow,
like yeah, I'm fucking walking home. I feel like $1 million, you know, and then it spawned from there. And before then, I was smoking weed, you know? And everybody's like, oh, weed's a gateway drug. It's like, no, your friends are the gateway drug. People don't like to have that conversation, but it's the fact. It's like the people that are like, oh, here, try this coke, or here, try this meth. Like, you know what I mean? Or here's a shot of heroin, you know?
Right.
Luckily, I never got into heroin, but I lost a few friends to that. But yeah, so 14 to 18, I was running amok, dude, fucking with some of the nastiest
meth
people.
out.
Dude, yeah, some of the nastiest fucking people, too. No, actually, I'm missing a couple teeth. I've had like a ton of,
the use.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that shit ate my teeth right here. Like I don't know if you can see.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm missing a tooth right there, man. Luckily, it's in the back and not in the front. But yeah, it's that shit literally rotted my teeth out. I've got inlays on all 4 of my molars in here. I've got crowns and caps on most of the molars. One of the molars obviously got removed. And just like the health implications, man, I fucking, you know, not even just mental health, but like physical health, man. I battled to like get healthy over the last couple of years still, you know, that was 15 years ago, you know, 16 years ago. So it's like, you know, I got sober when I was 18, off that. And then it spawned into, you know, in my 20s, you know, we're all drinking, partying, and then started doing blow. And, you know, now I'm drinking every night and snorting blow every night and fucking, you know, we're the life of the party. Or I could out drink you because I've fucking done a bunch of coke.
And you hear stories about, you know, snorting off of a stripper's ass.
Yeah, dude.
You're like, what?
Yeah, that's possible. I can do that.
How much are you going to charge me?
Yeah, $100 deal.
Right?
You know, yeah.
So 14-year-old you in the garage, your buddies are like, yo, dude, here's the foil. Try this out. You take that first hit. What happens?
Oh, bro, I mean, literally just so and at an early age, I was diagnosed with ADHD, so I was basically on meth. You know,
that's like HD 80 times.
Yeah, ADHD, fucking like HD,
ADHD.
Yeah, ADHD.
Okay,
but no, and so I went to juvie before I turned 18. That's actually what kind of started my sobriety. Was going to juvie, being on probation, formal probation, had to check in every week, all that shit. And when I was talking to the doctors inside there, he was like, he kind of like scapegoated it for me. And I held on to that for a while. He's like, oh, you were self-medicating. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I was self-medicating.
Right.
Fuck yeah. Thanks,
Right.
dude. Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it, 100%.
Yeah, I was self-medicating.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
know me all well, dog.
Yeah.
Can you describe it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, but it made me feel normal. Whereas like most people will get them all super hyper and freaking, you know, they're ready to do shit. You know, you get the jabber jaw, which I would get every once in a while from smoking it. I never slammed it, thank God, because that shit's nasty. I hate needles. But I've snorted it, smoked it. Smoking it was probably the worst thing ever because that's what fucked up all my teeth.
So was it the smoke going in? Is that what it just penetrates and just attaches to
the residue? Yeah.
Okay.
Just just the smoke coming in. And,
gotcha.
And I mean, you're basically smoking Drano.
Right.
So,
oh my God.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So you weren't feeling any kind of like euphoric? Like you weren't like, wow, like this is
I loved it. Honestly, not gonna lie to you, I fucking loved it. But over the course of time, you know, you start doing it. You're up for 5 days straight. You start seeing, you know, everybody talks about shadow people. That shit's all real, dude. Like you start making things up in your mind. And like, I remember standing out in front, smoking a cigarette at my mom's house and looking over and thinking my neighbors were spying on me. And I'm going, those motherfuckers, you know, like I'm sitting there and I'm smoking my cigarette. Like they're fucking watching me. Yeah, and I just remember like the next week I'm thinking, God damn, I've really reached a low, you know, like
right.
I really thought that motherfucker was out there watching me from across the street.
So you would remember thinking this shit after you're sobered up?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was crazy because back then, when I would get sober, because I was a kid, dude, I didn't have any fucking money, so it was like at the whim of when it was available to me. It wasn't like I had money in my pocket and I can just go buy a sack, you know. It was like, oh, my buddy's got some. Oh, I got a little bit of money. Like, let's go buy a sack. You know what I mean? It was totally different. So when I would come down, I would just smoke a bunch of weed and sleep. I remember vividly, I fell asleep on a Tuesday once, and I woke up Thursday morning. I'd slept all through Wednesday. Yeah, that's how fucking strung out I was. And my friend calls me and was like, hey, and they used to call me Jeff Bean. And she's like, Jeff Bean. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just woke up. What are we doing today? She's like, do you know what day it is? I was like, yeah, it's fucking Wednesday. What fucking kind of question is that? She's like, no, homeboy, it's Thursday. And I was like, fuck you. Looked at my phone and I was like, God damn, it is. It is Thursday.
You missed a whole fucking day and didn't even know it.
A whole Wednesday, had no clue.
It's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that crazy that you could do that?
What else did you miss? But you know what I'm saying?
Besides
like
sleep.
But it's like, but what else, you know, did this drug cause you to just forget?
Dude, not necessarily forget, but you lose who you are as a person. You know, you start doing like grimy things in the sake of that person is gonna fuck me over, so I'm gonna fuck him over first. You know, like that type.
So you start creating these scenarios in your head of
you break yourself.
Of everyone's out to get you.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh yeah,
fuck
even
off.
your closest
I'm gonna get you before you get me.
Yep.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Luckily, I never got to the family side of that. Like I always trusted my family,
right?
Because they've never been anything but good to me. You know what I mean? So there wasn't any animosity there. But I could see how, you know, you have kind of a crazy family dynamic. Why people turn on their families and stuff like that when they're under the influence of those types of drugs. Like I could get that. Like,
right? Like fuck off, dude.
Super
We're done.
quick. Yeah, just kind of like you're out to fucking get me. I had a buddy that we used to use together, and he walks into T-Mobile. This is years ago. You know, it was right when Bluetooth first started coming out, and he walks into T-Mobile and he looks at the guy dead in the face and goes, "They can track me on my phone, huh?" He's like, "Well, yeah, if you lose your phone, we could track it." He's like, "I fucking knew it." Throws his phone on the ground and runs out. That's how whacked out he was.
What?
Wouldn't walk past panel vans. Thought it was the FBI.
No shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I got unjustified tattooed on my arm right here. That was like, I used to always tell him like, "Hey, dude, your paranoia is unjustified. Calm down, dude." Like, he'd think there's people upstairs who are downstairs in a house. He'd be like, "There's somebody upstairs. Somebody just broke in." I'm like, "Hey, bro." He'd be peeking through the blinds, typical, you know, tweaker. And
fuck, I get like that sober, bro.
Well, these days, you know, it's
I
a
hear
little
squirrels
different.
running on my roof, and I'm like, "What the fuck? What the hell's going on up there?"
Yeah, who's running on my
Dogs
roof?
are looking up like
it's not even December 25th yet. This
you know
is
what
bullshit.
I mean, dude? Yeah. So you said you went to juvie.
I did.
What happened?
Riverside. I vandalized my parents' house. I got all pissed off. They wouldn't let me in, obviously. They kicked me out when I was, 15, after they figured out I was on dope, and I was couch surfing, and I was trying to get some stuff out of my house, and I fucking broke down the doors, and they called the cops on me and took me to jail. So I was in jail for like 3-4 months, juvie, until just before my 18th birthday. I got out. I was in jail over Thanksgiving, which luckily that was enough for me to realize that I never wanted to be incarcerated ever again. So it was like my only stint in jail because it sucked.
Best thing that ever happened to you.
Best thing that ever happened to me.
Or best first thing that ever happened to you.
Best first thing, yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally. That changed the trajectory of my life because I not only had to report to somebody now to prove that I was doing the things that I needed to do, I was also conditioned for those 3 months that I didn't need the drugs anymore. You know what was crazy? Is I got out of fucking juvie and my dad was there to pick me up right here in Riverside. And the only thing I fucking wanted was a cigarette. I wasn't thinking about dope, wasn't thinking about weed. I wanted a fucking cigarette. That was it.
Did you smoke before?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah. Yeah. And I was in there for 3 months, no cigarettes, and I fucking want a cigarette so bad. So I fucking stole a cigarette from my dad, literally right in the juvie parking lot, fucking smoked a cigarette. I felt way good.
And you were how old?
I was 17.
At that time?
Yep.
Drug-free?
Drug-free, yeah. I mean, for there, so.
Did you get, was there any drugs inside?
No.
Couldn't get nothing?
I'm sure I could have, but I wasn't in long enough to like establish that rapport with people, which is funny because like from people I knew outside, there was connections in there, but that wasn't where my mind was. My mind was, this fucking sucks.
Right.
You know, like I got fucking pepper sprayed or OC sprayed because some kid was mouthing off, so they sprayed him and hit me on the way to get him. So I'm like, man, this really sucks. You know, spent some time in fucking solitary, all that shit. Yeah, I've toured Robert Presley before I went to juvie. I'd obviously gotten into a lot of trouble, so they had made me do that whole scared straight bullshit.
Oh, did you really?
So, yeah.
Did you cry?
No, maybe a little bit. But I just remember in Scared Straight, they stole some kid's shoes, and I was like, I ain't taking my fucking shoes. Like,
right. All right. So you go home. Dad picks you up. You head home. What happens?
Well, so probation required that I had to either go to work or go to school. And since I didn't have my diploma, I had to go to school. So probation officer was like, you don't have your diploma? You got to go to school.
Right.
And I was like, well, I want to fucking work. He's like, well, get your fucking diploma and you can work. And I was like, cool. Did the night school thing for a little bit. Hated it. Talked to my probation officer. He was actually pretty helpful. I don't remember his name, but he was pretty helpful. And the people in the office at that time. I know we have a lot of problems with our police these days, but they were actually very helpful for me because I was willing to accept the help at that point in my life. And so they set me up with the Corona Adult School, and I got my GED through there. And then after I got my GED, he's like, yeah, go to work. I went to work with my stepdad, and I've been working ever since. It's funny. My parents will tell me to this day, they're like, we never thought you were going to fucking make it, dude.
Right.
We thought you were out down and out, and you were just going to be another statistic. They're like, and then you got sober, and then you started working, and we haven't seen you without work unless you wanted to not work since then. You know, like
right.
if I lost a job, if I got fired or I quit, I'd have a job the next day. Right. You know, just out there hustle. You know. Now it's a little different because.
It's a lot different now.
But
a lot different now. At that time, did you think you had a problem?
At that, towards the end, yes. During, no.
Well, it's never during.
Never during, yeah.
It's never. You don't ever know that you have a problem while you're fucking high. But now that you're sober, did you realize like, fuck, I might have a little issue?
Yeah. For sure. And what it was, it's like I told you that like your whole mind breaks, you know, because you've dealt with the lack of sleep, the paranoia, all that stuff. It took me years to overcome like a lot of that stuff. Even some of my closest friends, you know, guys I've known at that point for 10 years. Now it's closer to 20, you know.
Right.
But at that point, I'd known these guys for 10 years, you know, almost 10 years or whatever. We grew up, went to high school together, all that stuff. And I still wouldn't trust them. Wouldn't trust to leave them in my room alone. And I'm sober.
Sober, you still created these 3 years. Wow.
Yeah. Dude, I was still dealing with like trust issues from that. And that shit sucked. And that was one of those things that I had to work through on my own. So it's like almost like the development that I should have gotten in my teenage years, I foregoed for the drugs. And then now in my 20s, you know, 18, 19, 20, I had to start working on myself when I should have worked on myself. So I feel now like I'm behind the curve. Maybe not now, especially I look around these days and I'm like, damn, you got no emotional maturity at all.
Right.
You know?
I think you're doing all right.
I think I'm doing all right, yeah. But, at that point, I really had to develop myself as a human being from that point on when I should have been doing that when I was 14, you know, learning myself and figuring out, you know, things that I needed to do in life versus going out and being grimy.
Would you say it's easier having experienced that low? That way, now what you don't ever want to be again.
100%.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I will never go back to using that drug ever again, just because that drug was so nasty, and it literally set me back on my development as a person. I think about it now, and it's like, dude, if I'd have thought the way I think now 10 years ago, dude, I'd probably be a millionaire.
Right.
You know? Like
right. I couldn't imagine.
Bro, I would have so much money. I would probably own a company. I would be doing all right. I'd own houses. You know what I mean? It's
I would
like
have bought Bitcoin.
100%. I would have bought Bitcoin and sold at the high and be a instant millionaire. Yeah.
I would have bought AMC
or Google, AMC, any of it.
Apple.
Dude. Yeah, Apple, Amazon,
Ring.
I
would have bought the Ring, bro.
Yeah, like there's so many regrets, and,
yeah.
And you can't dwell on that stuff. I catch myself every once in a while because I always constantly think like, damn, I should be further in life. I should be. Why am I still here? I feel like a kid still sometimes. And then I look back and I'm like, damn, I've actually really come a long way from somebody with no money, living on the street, literally living on the street.
Right.
Sleeping in park bathrooms, sleeping out the park. I've done that multiple times. To I've got a roof over my head. I got a beautiful daughter. And I got a good job, got good parents. And so it's like, damn, realistically, when you look back and stuff like that, it's worth it. You're like, okay,
right.
You know what? I did fuck up a lot, but I'm not doing so bad.
Did you learn from it?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. That's the thing
Yeah.
is don't do it again.
Yeah.
Learn, oh shit, that sucked.
Yep. My stepdad used to tell me all the time when I was younger, he said, you can know everything in the world, but if you don't apply it, you ain't worth shit. And
right.
so, and it's just like what you just said, dude, if did you learn from it?
Right.
Well, you can know the answer, but if you don't apply the answer, then what's the point?
I heard something today. It said, it's funny how day by day you look at things and nothing changes, but when you look back, everything's changed.
Yeah, that is crazy. You don't notice.
Wild.
Well, it's the same thing with like the weight loss. I lost a lot of weight, and it's like I don't notice the changes day by day. But when
right.
I looked back after 3 months, I was like, holy fuck, I lost 35 fucking pounds in 3 months. Like
someone who hasn't seen you forever, like, holy shit.
Dude, people
bro.
thought I was sick. People thought I had cancer.
Oh, you don't have.
I don't have cancer.
Oh, see, I wasn't gonna be one of those people that asked you. I was like, fuck, bro, good for you, my boy. Like,
hey, I'm secure enough.
You got all your hair, like, I mean, it's all good.
Yeah, the chemo treatment's going.
Okay. So that was pure
hard work, dedication,
personal drive and want.
Well, it got to the point. So that's my second addiction. Was the drinking, which stemmed into cocaine use. I could drink more. Did some cocaine.
Fuck
I can
meth.
drink more.
Let's do some coke.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not gonna fuck me up at all.
No, not at all. And what's crazy about the cocaine is it made me numb to everything. Like I didn't have feelings.
Well, that's
but like
kind of like the intent of.
I mean internally though, like not necessarily like I know like the side effects of the drug, but no, internally. Like I just remember at the time I was sitting there with my girlfriend and we're talking and I'm just thinking in my head like, and it was like a wake up period. I was just like, damn, I feel nothing for this chick, like literally, like no love, no nothing.
Like, why are you here?
Yeah, I was that numb. Like,
wow.
And I didn't tell her this.
Right,
She might
right.
hear this and be like, "What the fuck?" Like, it's my ex, but it's still.
Do you think that was a combo of the alcohol and coke, or just the coke?
Probably a combo of both. Honestly, I mean, no, I was drinking a lot. I mean, I got to the point where I was drinking a bottle of Jameson before we'd go out for the night.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, or crushing a 12-pack of fucking Trulies or whatever the fuck, White Claws or
right.
Twisted Teas, whatever. We crushed 12. I'd crush a 12-pack by myself, and then we go, all right, to the bar, shots, fucking, whiskey, double whiskey, Sprite, and yeah, we were just life of the party 6 nights a week. And the only reason it wasn't 7 is because the bar that we like to go to was closed on Monday nights.
You would have went.
We would have went. Oh yeah, but we were like, well, they're closed. We'll take a night off.
Right.
Yeah. So it got real bad for a while.
So how long were you running the coke and the alcohol?
At least 3 years. In my mid-20s. Yeah. So mid to late 20s. So I mean, recently. You know what I mean? This is only a few years ago.
And you're how old now?
I'm 33.
Shit.
Yeah. I'll be 34 in June. So.
Now you said you had a kid, and so at some point you had to have realized that you like women more than men.
Yeah. That's a loaded question, isn't it? That's a good one. Yeah, so I definitely love the ladies. Not, I mean, I
More than men.
More than men, yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean, the guys are cool. You know, I got my boys. You know, wink, wink.
Kind of
nudge,
a waste
nudge.
of time, though.
Yeah, and that doesn't really do it for me. But yeah, I mean, and that was another thing too. Is you're drinking, you know, you're doing drugs, and I've never been one of the type of people to necessarily sleep around or do my hoe shit. I mean, I think we all go through a little bit of a hoe phase. I think it's just like a rite of passage for everybody, so to speak. But I was never that type of person. I always wanted something a little bit deeper than that. But yeah, drinking and drugs. I mean, yeah, fucking it's just a normal thing to hook up with somebody,
Right.
you know, and it makes you feel kind of dirty, you know. You're like, I don't like that shit.
I was a virgin until I met my wife.
That's commendable. I respect you for that. Yeah. I'm sure she's very happy.
I had a
about
name
that.
tag that said Elder Dustin, and all through life, I just
Yep.
it's kind of kept to myself.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah.
Do you drink still?
Rarely.
Okay.
Yeah, rarely. I don't like to say I'm sober because I don't have a problem.
What's your definition of rarely?
So like next weekend I got a company Christmas party and we will probably get trashed.
Okay.
My owners like to drink.
Nothing wrong with that.
Everybody at the company likes to drink. I don't drink very often, so I got to pace myself. It's not like back in the day where I could go shot for shot with some of these big guys and drink them under the table. I had a few drinks like 5 weeks ago with some of the girls at the bar. It was like midnight, and they were like, "Oh, let's do shots."
See, that to me, that's occasionally. That's nothing. I mean, you have control to where you can shut it off.
Oh yeah.
And dip out.
I literally I go to the bar every weekend still, and I just drink water. Everybody there knows.
You posted one time. You said, "Hey, listen." Yeah, you posted on your story, I think it was, where it said, "Hey, listen, I'm up. You know, I normally work nights.
Yep.
I'm up on the weekends. If you're drunk and fucked up, hit me up."
Yeah, 100%. I'm sober.
And
most
I was
weekends.
thinking in my head, I'm like, bro, that is such a great sales pitch.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
100%.
And I've seen the talent that you have on your Instagram page, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes I'm a fanboy. Like, how's this dude doing this shit, right?
Well, and it's funny because nobody gets it. Everybody's like, "How do you have so many fucking hot ass friends?" And I'm like, "Well, that's because they're."
I didn't say they were hot.
Clarification, but this is other people, obviously not you. But they ask and they're like, "What the fuck?" You know, like, how's that? How do you? I'm like, well, my intentions are pure, you know, and half the time I've known these women for 15 years, you know.
And my intentions are pure in watching it too. So,
yeah. But I'm just saying, it's I go into these relationships with these women, and it's just their friend. I don't go into this relationship wanting more because I'm just like, oh, you're cool. You're a cool chick. I like to hang out with you. You're my friend. You know what I mean? If it were to spawn into something more, then cool, whatever. But my thought process is, hey, we're friends. We've been friends for years, and it ain't never gonna go any different. You know what I mean?
Right.
But and there's a respect level from most women there. The immature women will be insecure about that. I've dated a girl. The last girl I dated, which was like a year and a half ago, hated it. And I told her from the beginning, hey, I got a lot of friends that are girls. And you'll meet most of them, you know, over the course of time. I was like, but just know, you know,
that are of quality talent.
Yeah. Well, I think it's disrespectful to be like, hey, I got a lot of hot girlfriends. You know what I mean? Like, to a woman that I'm trying to date, you know? So
I think that would be better.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it would just be like, just
rip the Band-Aid.
Just come right out and be like, listen, I ain't going to fuck around with bullshit. Like, there's some shit you need to know.
You might be right.
I think it would be better.
But yeah, and that was an argument that we had, and that was like one of the last arguments we had. You know,
I'd have a problem as your boyfriend, bro. I would have a problem as your boyfriend. Like,
You'd be like,
nah,
who are these fucking bitches?
Straight up. Look at her eyebrows. Are you serious?
On point. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
But no, that was one of our last arguments. She goes, she's like, it's always these girls, always these girls. I'm like, look, it's not like I'm hiding these women from you. I invite you out every time. You can come with us, you know? She's like, I get that. I appreciate that. She's like, but why do they all got to be so hot? And I was like, look, I've known most of these girls for over 10 years. They weren't hot back then.
At this?
Look at where I'm at now. Yeah. But no, it's like, you know, it wasn't like a lot of these girls have really transformed over the years. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that they were ugly before, but I mean, they really take care of themselves now, and they pride themselves on taking care of themselves, and there's no fault there on their part. But yeah, I get why other women could find that, you know, an insecure thing is, you know, this girl's super hot. But for me, it's still the same old girl that I knew 10 years ago, you know what I mean? That was just the homie that we used to smoke weed together, or, you know what I mean? Whatever it ended up being. It's not like, oh, we banged, you know, and like we used to always bang. Like, it's never like that. It's always a girl that I've known that no sexual history, no prior intimacy, none of that. So
do you think that would hinder your future relationships? Like, would you decide one or the other if it came down to that point?
I would always pick somebody I've known almost my entire life over somebody I just met. And that's just a statement. Like, it doesn't matter how much love I have for you. These people have literally been there for me my entire life.
Like, I've always had that where I don't believe guys and girls can have a cross relationship and at the same time be in a monogamous relationship. I feel that at some point, whether it's you
or them,
mm-hmm. there's a feeling there. Whether they admit it or you admit it or anybody admits it, there's something there. Whether you know it in your conscious or it's just tucked away in the subconscious.
Well, if you think about it, though, that's possibility at any point in your life. Whether you're friends with somebody or not, you could meet somebody tomorrow that you've never met in your entire life, completely hit it off and be like, damn, I really like this person. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter if you're married.
We're talking a hot chick, bro. Like, we're talking a hot ass chick.
Yeah, but these girls are also people. You know what I mean? Like, so there is some depth there. And this is where I'm arguing from my point of view. You know what I mean? Like, I think the fact that I've been friends with these women for so long and there hasn't been any intimacy is more of a statement than it could happen. Like I just said, I just meet a girl and we hit it off. You know what I mean? There's more fire there than with somebody I've known for 10 years, and it's always strictly been plutonic.
But what I'm saying is, what if they don't feel that way? What if in their mind they don't want to ruin this relationship, but they're like, they have feelings for you, but they haven't told you?
Well, but there can always be that, and as long as there's a healthy level of respect. You can't go through life without having an attraction to somebody else. You know what I mean? That's just human nature.
But at some point, it's going to cause conflict because those feelings are going to interfere with your relationship with someone new.
Well, and that's if I allow it.
Right.
I think that power lies in my hands more than anybody else's, because what I allow is what I allow, right? So if I'm allowing it, then that's my problem. You know, I'm at fault for that. It's not their fault that they like me. It's my responsibility to tell this woman, look, you know, I'm dating whoever it is, you know, and you know this isn't cool. You know, like, we have a responsibility to our partner to do shit like that. And the point is,
this is how you get to hang around all kinds of hot chicks.
because I have morals and standards. Or
when
what?
was the last time you used your penis?
Fuck, it's been a while, dude. Honestly, yeah, I don't.
That's why.
Yeah, I don't put too much stake in sex. Honestly, I mean,
I like that, steak and sex.
Yeah, steak and sex. You got me.
Huh.
I'm hooked.
You want to come over for steak and sex?
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
You're a vegan?
Yeah. Oh, it's only beef over here, baby. But no, and I think it's because over the years, like I said, I've been through my hoe phase. You know, I've hooked up with women. You know, and I think over the years now it's more like I'm focused on my career. I'm focused on my daughter. I really don't care. Yeah, do I want to fool around with some chick? For sure I do. But do I want it to be something meaningless and no point to it? No, because then it's just a waste of time, you know?
Right.
And somebody always catches feelings. It doesn't matter who it is more of the time. Somebody always does.
I've already caught him sitting here in the fucking 37 minutes we've been doing this.
We're vibing already. It's
crazy,
you know?
bro.
So yeah, but and that's the point is somebody's always going to catch feelings, and then somebody's always going to get their heart broken. So even if it's not me, I still feel that I owe somebody else the level of respect of I don't want it done to me, so I would do it to you.
And that's cool that you know this at a young age like this.
And a lot of people have told me that, and I appreciate that about myself.
Well, you should, because that's huge.
Not many people think this way.
I didn't learn that till I would say, fuck, dude, 39, 40.
I don't need to just bang these girls. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not what I want. I want that companionship. I want somebody to stick around. And it's harder. It's getting harder and harder and harder to find, I think, because we're losing our innocence.
You're fucked.
I'm fucked. Completely fucked. I'm going to have to go to like Germany.
Yeah, you're going to have to go overseas and get some woman that would come over here and worship the ground you walk on, or something. Because the women here, like, good luck, bro. Even like the Southern South women, like, remember
they're for the streets
the
too,
Southern
bro.
Belle girls, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all you guys, if anyone's listening over there, but
we're not singling you all out, just most of you.
Yeah, it's Is it the way that the parents are raising children nowadays? Is that
I think it's the access and the attention. So it's like I posted that on social media, that cereal box with the fucking likes.
Okay.
You know, it's the ego.
Right,
You know,
right.
and it's everybody's chasing that dopamine, like we talked about. Everybody wants that fucking
comment.
that like, that comment, that
Right.
damn you're hot. And you know what's crazy is I was realizing last night I'm surfing TikTok and I'm like, cool, going through. I'm like, oh, that girl's cute. Check her profile. Oh, link in bio. You know, okay.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, dude. Fucking, I swipe back. I'm like, oh, this chick's cute. She looks pretty wholesome. You know, click link in bio. I'm like, fuck. Every fucking chick is selling her butthole, which I have no problem with. Hey, I am the biggest supporter of making your money, and I have no problem with a chick with OnlyFans. I would even date one. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? But it's like every chick. It's like, dude, you guys are saturated the market at this point. Like, you're a clone of every other girl trying to get this done. And the sad part is that they do it for a month. They don't make $10,000 in a month, and they go, oh, same for me. It's like, dude, you didn't put in any work. Like,
you just showed your butthole to 12
for
people
free for $9.99, you know, like, or $4.99, you know, and that's,
oh my God.
And that's the thing. It's like you lose your innocence, and there's a lot of talk about how women are losing their innocence, and it's a fact, and not that men are any better. You know, we're dogs, but at least we're, you know, outspoken about it, and we're honest about it. That we're not always the best people. But I was talking to my dude last night, one of my subs, and we're out there cooking burgers on the job site, and we're talking, and it's like, dude, these women these days don't have anything to offer, you know? Cool, yeah, you can give me a kid. Cool, yeah, you can cook and clean. You know, every woman. I can do that for myself. What do you have that's different than any other woman out there? You know what I mean?
Right.
You can show your butthole on fucking OnlyFans. You know what I mean? You can work a regular job. Where's your hustle? You know, I mean, someone like me, I'm not fucking rich. I'm not self-made. You know what I mean? I'd like to be. That's where my goal is. You know what I mean? But I've done pretty well for myself over the years. And,
comfortable.
And I'm comfortable. Exactly. And I take care of myself and my kid. But it's like, where's your drive? You know what I mean? Do you work? And I'm not talking about all women. I'm talking about the girls of my age. You know what I mean?
They were like the waitresses back in the, like, you just like, boom, I'm working 4 jobs, like 4 different restaurants.
Yeah.
I picked up another shift.
Yeah.
Picked up, you know.
Hustle.
That's not around anymore.
No, these girls work one job, get by, live with their parents. And I'm not shaming anybody that's 18, 19, 20, 21. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. That's how it goes. You know what I mean? But at a certain point, especially like in your 20s, you got to figure out who the fuck you want to be. You know, you got to figure out who you want to be and what you want to do in life. You can't just live under the wing of the whole time, you know. And then what self-respecting man? Yeah, you might bag a fucking rich dude, you know, and a dude that's gonna pave your way. But at some point, you got to think down the line. Like, if you don't establish value in yourself, he's gonna get tired of you. And he's gonna kick you to the fucking curb. Right. You know what I mean? For the younger, hotter model. You know what I mean? So it's like, though I think the biggest thing in our society right now is women need to hold themselves to a higher standard. Not saying that men don't either, but I think if women start to, then men will follow.
Go back to being women.
100%. Yeah. And I'm not saying that they can't be the boss.
No, but the feminine, don't expose yourself to everybody in the world. Keep that for the dude that comes home to you after he worked a hard day at work.
Yeah. We allow and we condone and glorify. That's the word I'm looking for. We glorify that shit.
Right.
Dude.
Everything.
Literally everything.
Except for being fit.
Well, that's making a comeback now too, because you think about like in the early 90s, like that was like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Gold's Gym.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everybody was working out, and it's like, and especially like in the industry and like the fitness space, like that I see, because I'm in it now. There's a lot of really good people and a lot of really cool people, and a lot of people that want to see other people, you know, join in on the fun, so to speak, like just to get results and feel better about themselves. It's crazy how much better you feel about yourself when you look good, you feel good. Like literally, it's crazy. Like I still think I'm fucking fat. You know what I mean?
What was your peak weight?
250.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I was fat, dude. I mean, I'm 6'2". Yeah.
Okay, so you're an inch taller than me.
Yeah, I'm 6'2".
Well, fuck.
Yeah, but I was 250, man, and I'm 215 right now. 215, 214.
See, I'm 220. I want to get to 200.
See, and that's where my goal is set at right now, and I'm on a diet. I haven't been following it very much with the holidays and stuff like that. I've let myself slack, but and then my kid every weekend's like, "Can we go to Crumble?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can go to Crumble." And she's like,
"That's
okay,
the
let's
cookies."
Go. Yeah. Have you ever had those cookies before?
Is that the one where they put like, it's like really, really like just sweet and like there's thick ass topping on it and
big old fucking cookie. Yeah, they have one in the plaza right here. And,
yes.
But they have for Thanksgiving they had a pumpkin pie cookie. I took one bite of that motherfucker and I was like, oh, this is going in my belly. I
don't do pumpkin pie.
I destroyed that whole thing. Oh, I love it. I fucking love it.
See, I don't have a weakness for that.
That was my weakness, dude.
My weakness is Portos.
Oh, those are bomb.
But have you had the little white? They look like Hershey Kisses, but they're white with a dulce de leche filling inside of it.
No, I have not. But now I'm gonna need to find a Portos.
Bro, I am telling you right now. I challenge you.
Nah, fuck.
I'll bet you $100. You can't eat one.
I can't eat one of anything.
You
like
can't
that.
just eat one,
dude. So there was this bakery up in San Francisco. I used to work in San Francisco, like area all the time, the Bay Area. And there's this bakery we found. Where was it? It's like Middle Bay, on the peninsula, and like San Mateo area. And we found this little bakery, and I fucking go over there, and they had these little mini cream puffs, and they were the fucking best thing ever. It was just like you said, can't eat one. Like we'd order a dozen of them, and they'd be gone by the time we get back to the fucking pad that we were staying at.
See, that's my weakness,
like, dude.
Yeah,
It's gone.
I don't want to go to Portos.
Yeah, it's just like, well, and when you realize, so like what happened to me is, I started tracking my food, and I started realizing what the fuck I was putting in my body. Definitely not enough protein, way too many carbs and fats. So like that's where we're at. That's everything in our like.
Oh, you got numbers down, scientific and shit with it.
Oh yeah, I have an app that fucking tracks it all for me. Yeah, and helps me with my numbers and stuff like that. But like when you start looking at some of that stuff, you're like, holy shit. Like it's super easy to eat 500 carbs in a day in an American diet, and it's very easy to get less than 100 grams of protein.
Well, our food over here is shit.
Complete shit. It's garbage. You can eat, and it's crazy because once you start eating actual food and whole foods,
look at portions overseas,
bro.
Look how much different they are compared to over here.
It's crazy. It's fucking crazy, and the amount of processed foods that we're eating as a society is terrible for us. So that's why we're overweight. And there's actually a doctor that I follow on Instagram, Gabrielle Lyon. She talks about that we're not over fat, we're under muscled. That's our problem. Gotcha. If we had the muscle to keep up with our diets, then
to eat the fat,
then our muscle would burn all those calories, and we wouldn't be as fat.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, damn, I didn't think about that. Yeah, exactly. And like, when I lost the weight, I lost like 60 pounds. So I was down to almost 190. And I felt, that's when people thought I was sick, like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
That people thought I had cancer or some shit like that. Like, and then like, nobody would say it, but a couple of my homies were like, damn, you all right? Like they hadn't seen me in a while, and they're like, you all right, dude? You look
AIDS?
fucking sick.
HIV positive
yeah,
or some
exactly.
shit, bro?
Like, what have you been doing, dude? And
hey,
I'm like,
easy, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, fuck, I work out twice a day. I fucking eat to my diet to the letter. I was literally like on my macros fucking, exclusively like to the point.
Right.
And I just changed my diet. Every time I'd lose weight, I'd fucking lower my macros.
You put the work in.
I put the work in. But I did. I felt that like body dysmorphia. I felt scrawny. I was like, fuck, I don't like the way I look. So then I started adding weight back on. So that's why I'm back at, 220, 215. So
are you going for that like muscular, like men's health fucking, watch me eat a banana in the morning type dude, or
that's funny because I eat a banana every morning.
You lather your fucking abs and seaweed and kale and shit.
I think the goal here is to be functionally strong. Just really be healthy. It's crazy because I did this hike with some clients, some old clients of mine, last year. Maybe it was the beginning of this year. Yeah, beginning of this year. And we did this hike. It's what is it? Mount Wilson Trail in Pasadena.
Okay.
It's to where we would hike to, it's about 4 miles, 4.5 miles up, and then 4.5 miles down. And so when I was light, when I was in the 190s, I could do that trail. Like I had never done cardio like that because it's like a 3,000 foot elevation gain. It's over 4.5 miles. It's fucking straight up, dude. Like,
is there a rock at the top or something that you could take a picture on?
The top is like 14 miles, so I don't know. I haven't been one way 14 miles. Yeah, so
yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, so we would only go 4.5. You know what I mean, to Orange Camp or whatever it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's but you get to a point and it's like there's these switchbacks and they're literally like this. You're like, going,
cool.
dude. Yeah.
You only gone up 2 feet, but you've walked like 50 feet.
Yeah, and these girls, these women, then we get to the top. I remember my first time. They're like, okay, we're running down. And I'm like, we're what? And excuse me? And they said, yeah, we're going to run down. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm not running down this. And they just took off. And I was like, fuck, I guess I got to keep up because I don't know how to get back otherwise, you know?
Right.
And I ran down with them, dude. I burned like fucking 2,000 calories in like an hour and a half.
Just off that
2 hours,
one
just
little...
doing that one hike, dude.
Wow.
But then we did it a couple more times, and it got easier. But then I started gaining weight. I was trying to put on muscle, and she got me to sign up. One of the ladies got me to sign up for a trail race there. And when I did the trail race, because it was months after, it was like middle of the year, and when I did the trail race, I was at like 215. So I was 25 pounds heavier. And when I tell you that 25 fucking pounds matters, it fucking matters, man. I felt so slow. I had to stop at search and rescue on the way down because my fucking leg was cramping. Like literally, I had to have them stretch me out, and then I kept going. Yeah, it was pretty fucking gnarly, dude. Like I was like, damn, I can't believe I did this so easily before. And you don't think about like, dude, what 25 pounds adding onto your body actually means.
Right.
At 250, I couldn't even walk them out, dude.
And you don't see yourself stacking that weight on either because it's slowly.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Until all of a sudden you got titties.
And all of a sudden you're like, damn, bro. And that's where my thing, I want to see my dick again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my thing. I look down and I freaked out one morning like, where'd it go?
Yeah.
What happened? And I was like, I'm like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you're looking in the mirror, making sure it's still there.
Back brace belts so I can,
corset.
Yeah. So when did you? Let's go back to the alcohol and the cocaine. I want to touch back on that. And how long did you say it was that you partied with the?
At least a couple of years. Yeah, so 2-3 years. Yeah.
Okay. And then what did you realize you had a problem there? How did you get off? How did you get off that?
The fitness thing actually helped me get to that. And so honestly, I'll credit Andy Frisella and 75 Hard to my success with curbing those habits.
And he's going to watch this, so he'll see that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he will. But I think it was actually Jimmy, our mutual friend Jimmy, that was like, and we had been talking about it because I'd listened to Andy for years, and while I was a fat piece of shit, I used to listen to the MF CEO Project. So
you're like, God, this sounds great.
Yeah, as I'm drinking a fucking Jameson Sprite and snorting blow off, whoever's asshole.
Get out there and fucking do something. You're like, you're right.
Yeah. As I'm crushing a truly called tall can or whatever. But, and so we had talked about starting it, and then one day Jimmy was like, yo, let's fucking do 75 Hard.
I remember when he did that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I didn't know you did it with him.
I attempted to do it with him. I actually attempted it 3 times before I ever made it through. So I actually didn't make it through the program until the beginning of this year. So I started on January 2nd and I ended on March 17th. And I lost like 27 pounds during that, but I had already lost. I was at like 226. So I got down to 200, just under 200 after that. But yeah, I was already down to 226 because I had attempted this. So I made it like 50 days and then I failed.
Fuck.
Yeah. And so I had to start over again.
Why did you fail?
Whatever. Couldn't drink my water. Didn't get to my task. Wasn't time managing myself enough. It's
so one day, if you don't complete what you're supposed to complete, you're done.
You start over. Yep.
Done. And it's more of like a self accountability type thing.
Yeah, it's more for mental discipline. So it's a disciplinary thing.
Gotcha.
It's instilling discipline in yourself more than a fitness thing. It just has a fitness aspect to it because you're working out twice a day, you're drinking water, you're following a diet, but it really does help with discipline. It's funny because like after the program, after I finally completed it, it's like I'd notice like I'd walk past the dishes and be like, oh, I'll do those later. I'd get to my door in my room and I'd go to put my hand on the handle. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just do the dishes now. And I'll walk over and do the dishes. Whereas before I'd be like, yeah, I'll fucking do the dishes later.
Never
4 days later, fucking still sitting in the sink, God. And so it's just those little actions over time that it instills, doing for 75 days, meticulously, a gallon of water, taking a picture of yourself, 2 workouts a day, 1 has to be outdoors, rain, sleet, or snow. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what it looks like outside. Sunny and 75, cool. But yeah, if it's snowing or raining, I did a handful of walks, and I was doing 3 miles a night plus my workouts in the morning. So I did a handful of walks in the fucking pouring snow, rain.
Snow.
Yeah, well, we did some walks in the snow, but only like 1. But that was in Big Bear. So, but we did. I know Jimmy did a handful of fucking walks in the snow because that was when he had the cabin. Yeah. So he was up there all the time, and he's like, "Fuck, this sucks." And but that instills the discipline, and
it's like the ice baths. I follow a dude. He takes every morning, he jumps in his ice bath.
That's like Grant Anderson or whatever.
What the hell is this dude's name? He's salt and pepper haired guy from England or something. Does a podcast, always talks in the camera. Really,
always talks into the camera.
Really good content. And every morning he says, you know, he goes out and he takes the cover off, and there's this ice bath. He goes, you know, it's snowing outside, raining outside, or you know, mornings you don't feel like doing it. He goes, every morning I do it.
Yep. And they say it's really good for you.
Bro, I've done it in the shower in the morning where I've just gone fucking just full crank, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh,
it sucks so bad.
And then you're just sitting there, and you're like, fuck. And then you're like, fuck, it really is not that bad.
Yeah, once you start doing it, and that's part of, so 75 Hard actually has 3 other phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And phase 1 incorporates cold showers in the morning, 5-minute cold showers.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, 5 minutes is hard. And what Andy talks about on his podcast is describing it. It's like, he's like, oh, I do my shower first, and then he's like, then at the end of the shower, just turn it cold, and I'll sit there for 5 minutes. And I'm like, you're a fucking animal. Because I've done like a couple minutes, and I'm like, dude, your whole body's tense. Like when it's that cold, like you're literally, but they say it's really good for you.
And it's not even that cold though.
Not when you have a cold shower. You're talking an ice bath. You're talking like 30
ice bath,
degrees,
yeah, but
dude.
a cold shower, that's not even that cold.
In the winter, it's colder, but like summer, I was able to do it because it's fucking hot as shit. You're just like, cold shower, hell yeah, you know. But in the winter, fuck, that's the real test right there, like the real test, because it's cold as shit.
And so that completely got you off the cocaine and the alcohol.
Yeah, because you can't drink alcohol on the program. And so when I first started, I made it 9 days. I can pull it up on my phone. I think I made it 9 days, and then I failed. I had a mishap. I didn't drink enough water or something like that. So I started over. Then I made it like 45 or 50 days, and then I had a mishap, and I was like, I'm not fucking starting over. I'm fucking tired. You know what I mean? But I had done a lot of work, you know, and so I was already feeling better. And I wasn't drinking, so I was like, I'm just going to continue this. But then I fell back, you know what I mean? That whole yo-yo thing where you're like, oh, you're doing good, and then you come back. Oh, you're doing good, and then you come back.
Gotta celebrate.
Yeah. So I started drinking again, doing a little bit of blow, whatever, here and there. Sorry, Mom. And then I started again in December, and I failed. It was right before Christmas. I was like, fuck it. You know, I'm going to eat with my family and And so I failed. And then I was going to start January 1 this year, and I got so fucking drunk on New Year's that I was hungover all day, New Year's Day.
Fuck this.
Yep. And I was like, I was fucking pissed at myself. I was so fucking mad. I was like, dude, you knew you were going to fucking start this today. Why the fuck did you get so drunk? Like, you're a fucking idiot. I was real hard on myself. And then, so January 2, I was like, fuck it. I prepped all day and fucking, you know, ate all my good meals and stuff like that. But I prepped and I did what I needed to do. And I just went on my way. I literally ate the same thing for 75 fucking days and just adjusted portions to where my weight was at.
No shit.
Yeah, literally chicken, rice, egg whites, fucking, yeah, literally the same thing every single day. And I got it fucking done. It wasn't sustainable that way, though. So for anybody that might be listening, don't eat the fucking same thing every day because it's not sustainable. You want your health to be fun, you know? Like, you don't want, that was just for me.
Well, you would look at that next meal and like, fuck this, bro. I'm tired of eating that shit.
See, and that's the thing for me. It was like, I knew what I was expecting, so I knew what I was getting, so I was happy with it. You know,
if
like,
I could have tacos every time, bro, I'm like, I'm cool.
Yeah, see, and you could have tacos. It's just, you know, because my diet was, I didn't do like a pescatarian. I didn't do any special kind of diet. I didn't do keto. I followed my macros. And it's funny because after I did that, I was listening to a podcast, and they were like, yeah, macro diet on 75 Hard is probably the hardest way to do it. And I was like, oh, fucking great. Like, yeah. And it was, because like I said, I ate the same fucking thing every single day. Wake up in the morning, eat egg whites with some spinach and a fucking bagel. You know what I mean? And then fucking 2 hours, 3 hours later, I'd eat a fucking cup of rice with some tablespoon of soy sauce in it. You know, for lunch, I'd have fucking, you know, some more chicken and rice, and you know, just the same fucking thing every single day. It was mind numbing, but it's not sustainable. You got to be able to have a little bit of fun with your diet. You know, you got to enjoy it. You know? So
get creative with it.
Yeah, for sure. It's like nowadays, it's like I try to. Like, I still hit most of my numbers, but if I'm above on my carbs, I just make sure I go under all my fats so it evens out. You know what I mean? Or so to speak, and I stay on my calories, and I still lose the weight. But I always try and hit my protein because protein's what you want because you want to protect all the muscle and build more. So,
how would you say that? Did you ever struggle with depression? Did you ever go through episodes of depression?
You know, going through it, I didn't think I did. But there's times that I can look back now and say, I was fucking depressed in that time. You know what I mean? Whether it wasn't I felt good enough, I didn't think I was going to make it, just failing myself, failing my kid, failing my family. There's a lot of times where I felt real down on myself and didn't realize it. And yeah, I mean, you go through those things where, when I was younger, I was like, we had this conversation. Depression isn't real. It's a state of mind. And it is, and a lot of people get mad about that, but, and we talked about this but really it does have to do with us, and the state of mind that we're in the current space. So looking back and going, God damn, you sorry son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, you really willing to give up, basically. And it makes me mad at myself for that, especially being where I am now. Not saying I'm perfect, but I'm a lot better than I was at that point, and so you're really hard on yourself is what I was at. I was just being real hard on myself, basically.
Do you think your environment, what you see other people doing, having, getting, attaining, spending, dressing like, driving, do you think that all contributes to people's depression?
Absolutely. That's a huge thing. And I think that's one of our biggest problems in our country today, and maybe even the world, is everybody's always worried about what somebody else is doing. They don't take the time to reflect on where, what we talked about earlier, is I look back at 10 years ago and I'm like, fuck, I'm way further than where I was. I might have taken a few steps back, but I'm still way ahead of where I was.
Right.
A lot of people don't put any stock in that. They just see, oh, fucking, Jimmy's got a fucking Ferrari, or fucking Michael's got a fucking Bentley. Like, why don't I have a Bentley? Well, you didn't fucking put in the work, you sorry motherfucker. Go put the work in. I'm not saying that I have, but I've come to realize that I don't care what they got because I'm working on my timeline,
Right.
And we all look at that. Oh, that girl's hot. I wish I had a girlfriend that looked like that, Yeah, but who is that chick? Is she even cool to hang out with?
Is that even a girl?
Yeah, 100%. Is that even a girl? We're in 2022, almost 2023.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you're 100% right. And people don't understand that what they see on the internet, and everybody's talking about it more and more now, that the internet's not real. It isn't. It's all fluff. It's just like dating apps. I think I had a rant about this the other day. Fucking dude, you go onto a dating app and it's literally just a competition of who can sell themselves the best. That's all a fucking dating app is, which you've been married for 15 years, so you don't have to fucking deal with that.
Bro,
and you have no idea, but it's you go through these pictures and it's these girls in Tulum or Bali, and it's dude, that's 1% of your fucking life. Show me what the rest of your life looks like. I want to see the fucking pictures of you sitting in bed on a Friday night watching fucking Netflix, because that's what gets me off. I'm like, fuck yeah, that girl's got kick it factor. I can fuck with that.
And a hoodie and some sweatpants.
100%. Tub of ice cream. I don't give a fuck.
Hair in a bun.
Yeah, dude, that's the cool shit, And
I don't want to see you dolled out, dressed up in your gown with your cleavage hanging out, and titties popping and ass shaking, and yeah, everyone else gets to see that. Look, show me you.
The real,
Show me you.
And that's the thing that I think a lot of people are getting back to on social media nowadays, at least what I see with a lot of the fitness influencers. They're starting to post a lot more of their failures, and I think that's super cool.
Right.
Because the failures are what really make us grow into who we are. No success story comes without any amount of failure. You know what I mean?
What happened to all the lunch? People used to do food porn.
Dude.
What happened to...
I still follow a bunch of chefs, dude. I'm still on that food porn shit.
But nobody does that shit anymore. Remember when this all started, people had to post their food.
Yeah, their food. I still do that.
Fucking time you would get on Instagram, it would be a food post and hashtag food porn.
Yep,
right?
A plate of food, yeah. I still do that, honestly. I had fucking market broiler the other night, and I had fucking steak, and I was just like, this is too good not to post.
God, it's so good, but it's so expensive.
So expensive. It was $40 just for that little steak and
three of us.
Potatoes, dude.
It was $150.
Yeah, that's fucking... And
I had 2 beers.
Yeah, you're
what the fuck?
Everything's so expensive.
But it's good.
It's good. It's worth it to go out every once in a while. And that's something else, dude. Well, going back to the whole social media thing, everybody puts, you look at these guys and a lot of the entrepreneurs, real entrepreneurs, Ed Milet and Andy Frisella and Gary Vee, they all talk about the fake guys that are out there selling programs and shit like that, but they've never even done anything in their entire life,
Right.
And
look at Andrew. I mean, not saying that Andrew Tate hasn't done anything, but I mean, just look at the subscribers and then what he gets per subscriber.
Yeah.
They're making millions a month.
Oh, yeah. Millions a month just on our views, dude. Just on our views.
No, just on the subscription. If he's got 30,000 subscribers at $50 a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what 1.5 million a month.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Trauma.
Yeah.
You want to talk about gateway? It's fucking trauma.
Some fucked up shit that happened to you when you were a kid,
Right.
or
whenever.
Yeah, whenever.
It's
yeah,
trauma.
I mean, you guys fucking going overseas and shit like that. I mean, yeah,
You could be in a car accident.
yeah.
You could watch you could watch a washer machine fall at Home Depot on somebody.
Dude, that would be traumatic for me.
But you see what I'm saying?
Smashed.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I would be videotaping. I would be that person that's rendering no aid.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, dude, you fucked up.
I would risk my life for me and mine. You know, so if we're talking
Back
civil,
in '97.
so if we're talking civil, if it came to a civil,
Oh yeah, for
you know,
sure.
then I would band together with a group of like-minded people. But yeah, I agree with you.
Would you be on the Sharks or the Jets?
The Sharks or the Jets. I don't know.
You never seen that movie? West Side Story?
No, I don't think so.
Oh damn, bro! I guess I am showing my age. Yeah, that's a classic. They didn't show that to you in high school,
No, I don't think so.
dude. That was like a movie we had to watch to graduate. A
Really?
West Side Story, like where they danced, and then it's like the Sharks and the Jets, and the Sharks, I think it was like the Mexican dudes, and they were all dancing and shit, and they would go like. They'd be beefing and shit, and then they start fucking doing pirouettes and like on the basketball court. You never seen that?
Nah,
oh,
never seen
bro,
it,
that's
dude.
a classic.
Now I gotta watch it. Now I'm gonna
That
go
is
home and watch that
fucking
shit
classic,
tonight.
bro. What did fatherhood? Did it change you?
Changed my entire life. It's the only reason that I'm still sober today. You know, and obviously I've taken step backs with different substances, you know, alcohol and cocaine. But if it wasn't for that little girl, then I would have never stayed clean off the meth, and I would have been probably gangbanging, and I might have been dead or in jail right now. Honestly, it changed my entire trajectory for life, you know. And at first, I didn't understand what being a dad was and being a father, and it was scary as fuck.
Did you have a good relationship with your dad growing up? Did you have a father figure in the house?
Yeah, and there was always a father figure. My stepdad too helped raise me as well. Not any slight to my dad or anything. My dad's always been amazing. But it was a split home, you know, so I saw my stepdad a lot too, you know, so he did have a part in raising me, and I got to give him credit for that. But yeah, like I said before, my parents were amazing. They were nothing short of amazing. They did everything for me, you know, and I'm the one that fucked up. You know, it was my responsibility. It's not because I had a shitty childhood or anything like that. It's just because I was wild and I wanted to do things my way. I was hard-headed. I have to learn everything the hard way. And I know there's a lot of people out there that align with that same, you know, kind of value. Is I got to know that I fucked up to be able to fix something, or else I'm never going to learn.
Because it'll eat you alive knowing that you didn't do it.
100%. Yeah.
So you don't know what it's like to.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can't go through life not knowing.
Yeah. Like, it's like the whole stove, you know, theory, you know, that,
right.
Like,
don't touch it, you're going to burn yourself.
I know it's hot, but I'm still going to fucking touch it just to make
really?
sure. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Why didn't you tell me it was that hot?
Exactly. That's my life in a nutshell, you know. And it's funny because I think back, my stepdad used to tell me all the time, one of the big things he used to tell me, especially as I went into high school, he's like, hey, I'll never get you in trouble for fighting as long as you were in the right. He's like, if you come home and you got into a fight, he says, you might be in trouble at school. He's like, but if you explain to me why you fought that kid and you're in the right, he's like, you won't be grounded. Cool. And he always held his word to that. I never got in too many fights, but yeah, anytime, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I was never in trouble, but there was a couple times that I started to fight and I got in trouble. You know what I mean? Got quad sold. He sold my quad. Fucking all kinds of shit. Oh yeah. Yeah. It was bad.
Like it went full blown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever slapped somebody open handed, like legit, like
cupped slap
just
sound?
Bitch slap.
Yeah, it didn't turn out very well for me, but I did.
Did it stun them at first? Like, what the fuck just happened?
It pissed him off, and he beat the fuck out of me. He was twice my size.
Oh, well, you're not supposed to stop then. Like,
yeah, I fucked up. But yeah, I got my ass whooped.
Trying to get his attention or what? I mean,
no, he was in my face, and I just was pissed, drunk, fucking all fucked up, and yeah, whack. And he was a lot bigger than I was, and that's something to say. And I'm a pretty decent sized dude, you know, and yeah, he was like twice my size.
I would have grabbed his nuts.
You want total disclosure? I did.
Physically just.
He had me in a headlock, and I fucking grabbed onto his nuts, and he started screaming. That's the only reason I got out.
Oh yeah,
And,
I've
hey,
done nut grabs.
A fight is a fight, bro. Hey, if you're in a headlock by somebody twice your size, anything goes. I was looking for sand to throw in his eyes.
And you got fucking veins in your eyebrows,
bro. Yeah, you feel like your eyes are gonna pop out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's putting you to sleep. Yeah,
fucking head's burning. And you're like,
that dude knocked me out. I think 2 or 3 times. I kept getting up. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, about the third time he was like, I was all fucked up, so I didn't feel nothing. But I got up. I kept getting up. About the third time.
Out.
Yeah. I always slept. Yeah. And
wow.
And about the third time I got up, he was like, just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? I'm like, I get up, I'm drunk, I'm talking shit. You fucking pussy, that's all you got, after the third time I get knocked out, you know. And which I was never a fighter anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to whip his ass, I'm no badass, and I'm very honest about that. I mean, I can fight, but I'm not the guy that's out there fucking, fighting every weekend that's really good and really likes it.
Right.
So I have that hesitation of, unless you piss me off real good. There's been times where I've been sober and people are talking shit. I'm like, let's go outside then. And then they back down, I'm sober, you're fucking hammered, I'm going to mop the floor with you, you know? But at the same time, I'm not the fighter, so I've never been in all the fights. Like all my boys, that was what they used to do. Like we go out on the weekends and they'd fight somebody. I'd sit there drinking and they'd be fucking fighting in the parking lot, or I'd be watching them fucking fight in the parking lot.
Right.
I would. We had always had a rule. You don't jump in unless you have to, and if you jump in, you're not beating the other person up. You're pulling each other apart so they can start again. So kind of like a respect thing.
Right.
But they never lost, so I never had to do any of that. They were always fucking people up. They're also twice my size, so
I love walking away. I think that's the best feeling.
It's the most powerful feeling ever, to have somebody so mad and talking so much shit and being able to be like, hey, bro, no thanks,
Or like they come up like, you're a bitch. Be like, you better put sassy in front of it.
Yeah, exactly. Just shut him down.
Oh, yeah. It'd be like, like, come on, big guy.
Yeah, and it's like when people talk shit like that, I go, oh, yeah, I'm a bitch. I'm a pussy. I'm a faggot. You got me. Yep, I am. And they're like, I'm
not going to feed into that, bro.
No.
You're not going to get
You're not going to goat me.
You're not going to get any of this vibe to get for me to sink down to that level that you're at of where you're looking for me to go.
Yeah, and
I've been there before.
100%. And
I know that guy, and I don't want to be that guy because he blacks out.
And that's it. And it's not that I'm above anybody else. It's just that I know I'm better than that. And I've always known I'm better than that. There's been times, obviously, you get in fights, you're drunk, whatever, shit happens. Like I said, for me, it hasn't happened all that much because I never had to.
But there's no reason to fight. There's literally, like, if you think about it, unless a dude grabs your girl's ass or something.
Well, that's a different story. I've gotten into altercations over that shit, but it seldom ever goes into a fight. Usually that person gets kicked out, but yeah.
Other than that, then does she look at you like, hey, bitch, like, why haven't you fucking manhandled that fool?
Does that ruin her view of you?
That's what I'm saying. Like what at that point, what do you do as a man? Like, is she looking at you like, you man, roar?
Yeah, or you can't even defend me.
Right, bro. Like you're gonna let him get away with that?
Yeah.
Like, now does she lose respect? I mean, what happens? What do you do in that situation?
I think most times the women do lose respect, and I think that's why most men do fight and get so crazy, is because they want to pump their chest and show their woman, I'm the fucking man,
And then she's holding you afterwards like, oh, babe, you're so brave.
Yeah, even if you get your ass whooped, you know what I mean?
Right.
But if you get your ass whooped, then they still lose respect for you.
Right, like you fucking
what
pussy.
I mean?
Like,
Yeah,
he was half your
100%.
size. You couldn't fucking beat him up.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like, or you back down. Why would you back down? Where it's funny because you'll listen to Jocko, and he's like, I'll run from a fight. He's like, I don't. He's like, there's no point. And I'm like, fuck, I align with that. He's
Who? Oh, first of all, who would get in a fight with him? Have you seen his jawline and his fucking chin, bro? Like,
dude, commander of SEAL Team 3.
Get the fuck out of here. Oh, yeah, someone's going to fight you, Jocko. You're going to run?
100%.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu fucking black
Get the
belt.
fuck out of here. That's like someone trying to fight Joe Rogan.
Bro, and do you know there's so many people that want to fight Joe Rogan? I'm like, you realize that he's been doing MMA since before the UFC started?
You watch the videos of just him sparring, kicking. Bro, oh my God.
The power behind that dude's legs is unimaginable. It's crazy.
It would fucking crush you.
Oh, 100%. Dude's just got it down to an art. I mean, he's been doing it for 15 or 20 years, dude.
He drives every bit of energy from the ground through his feet all the way up to his head, back down the other side and out that fucking leg, dude, to that.
Just destroys. Yeah,
I've seen it.
It's funny it's funny like you say that but Jocko does talk about that. He's like, he's like, I'm not fucking fighting any just Joe Schmo. He's like, it's a different situation when I'm forced into fighting. He's
Right.
like, but he's like, the most power you'll ever have is to walk away. And I fucking agree. It's like you just said, dude, most power you'll ever have is to walk away. And if anybody thinks less of you because of that, that's their fucking problem.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
I will always respect somebody more for walking away than goating it. You know what I mean? It's just a hard dynamic because everybody's so caught up. Like we talked about that whole, I'm a man, that macho man, alpha. You know, you hear that word a lot, alpha. But I don't think people really understand what alpha, being an alpha actually is. It's being hard when you need to be hard and being soft when you need to be soft. People think it's just being hard all the time. It's like, no, you got to be able to embrace that softness. That's what really being an alpha is, because there's a lot of situations in life that you have to be soft with. You can't be hard all the time.
Right.
You're just a blunt object at that point, you know?
You know what I like to like compare myself to is like the old bonsai tree farmer that just keeps to himself, fucking snips the tree, trims it. But in time of war, that motherfucker put his shit on, pull that sword out, and he's a fucking lethal killing machine.
Samurai.
The samurai.
Yep.
That's what that, when you say alpha, that's to me what alpha is.
100%.
That hidden beast that's tamed and controlled.
Having the ability to get to that level of aggression and you know, but still having enough control over it to subdue it.
That's what I'm saying. Keeping it at bay.
Yep.
Because you know it's fucking hungry.
100%.
And being able to wake up every day going, calm down, boy.
My thing was, when we go to the bar, I wasn't hitting on the girls at the bar. I was hitting on the fucking hot bartender, you know, and that was always my game. Like I wanted to go home with the bartender because she's hot and she has to talk to me, you know, at least some level, you know.
Right.
And then
every other guy there is.
So that made me feel good being able to get the number and maybe have dinner the next night, and then, you know, and then forming a relationship with this woman because I beat out everybody else. You know what I mean? It was like an ego thing for myself,
right?
You know, which I realized later in life, like, yo, that was all for me. I had no stake in any of these women, which I am still friends with quite a few of them, of the girls cross country. You know what I mean? And they're great people, you know, and that's why we're still friends.
Probably smoking hot.
Yeah, they're pretty cute. Yeah. But they, you know, but I think about the ones that I'm not friends with, and it's like, damn, like I used that woman, you know,
ugly ones,
for the ugly ones.
You were like deja vu.
Yeah, fuck. But no, it's like I use those women, you know, for my own self gratification.
I think every guy does.
I think everybody, even women.
I think women to an extent, but I think for the most part, guys do it in different contexts.
Well, I think guys do it to establish their worth as a man.
And I think it's a proof, like, let me show you.
I banged that girl. She's hot.
Yeah.
Like, look at me.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
And, you know, I'm in the tallest tree in the forest.
100%. Yeah. My dick's bigger than everybody's.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though it's not. Like,
100%.
Like, where's my blue chew?
Yeah, exactly. Fucking.
Now that you've kind of worked out all the bugs and the kinks, right? Now that you've kind of gotten on this path, do you suffer from depression now?
I have spurts of times when I feel depressed. I don't think I suffer from depression like we talked about earlier. There are times where I feel like I'm not doing enough, and that's what gets me down, is I feel like I should be doing more. I think there's more that I could be doing. And so that weighs on me heavy. And sometimes I recluse when that does happen. And that's no good for anybody that's listening. That's probably the worst thing that you can possibly do. And it's also why I do still frequent the bars every weekend to get some of that social aspect and maybe talk with some people. Even if I'm just sitting there by myself playing on my phone, I like to be surrounded by people because it does help me kind of work through my own shit. Just having that energy. And you're never, when me going to the bar, which I don't recommend everybody go to the bar because a lot of people don't have the
I was going to say, that's got to be hard to, I mean, especially for a lot, well, not for you, but for
a lot of people don't have that self-control.
Yeah, bro. Like, talk about throwing yourself into the fire.
100%. Yeah. So
don't go there. You're going to get burnt. Like,
yeah, 100%. Okay. Yeah, it's the stove all over again, you know? Yeah. But for me, I have no problems. You know, I can go to the bar. I can watch my friends drink. I can watch my friends do cocaine. And I can sit there and say, yeah, it's not for me anymore, you know?
Right.
And I have that power. And for me, it's just the social, the energy, you know, and when I go to the bar, and this could be anything. I mean, you can be going to church, you could be going to youth group. You can be going to the Wednesday night things at church, whatever, whatever you want to do to get that social aspects. What you should do, even going to the mall, just to be around that energy of other people. I recommend it highly because it helps, just to not recluse yourself into a room by yourself and then only deal with the person in your head. It's nice to be able for me to go to the bar and have a conversation with somebody, even if it's only a 30-second conversation. Hey, how are you? What's going on? Just getting out of my head and not dealing with some of the problems does help to kind of curb that harshness on myself, if that makes sense.
Have you ever encountered someone questioning like, hey, why aren't you drinking? And then you have to kind of explain.
In the beginning, when I first started drinking, that was like always the question I would get is come on, you can just have one. Oh, come on, I already bought the shot for you. And it would turn into
so much pressure right there.
Yeah. But I was so set on my program and creating a better life for me that I'd say, oh, I'm sorry that you paid that money without asking me first, like you fucked up.
Throw it back like, this isn't my fault.
That's your fault, put the accountability back on them.
Right.
And there was times obviously where I'm like, all right, fucking one shot, ain't going to kill me, when I was off the program or when I had failed or whatever, and, but then they slip back into it. It's like, it started where I stopped before even starting the program. I stopped drinking during the week. Cause I was literally, like we said, drinking 6 days a week. I stopped drinking during the week and then I would just binge on the weekends, but I'd make up for a week on the weekends. Like we would be out until like 7 o'clock in the morning, fucking drinking.
You drink 12 days worth in one day.
Exactly. Yeah. 2 days, whatever. Sometimes we would fucking literally party from Friday night till Sunday, and then I'd sleep Sunday, and then I'd be groggy until fucking Wednesday, and then I'd start the process all over again Friday, and yeah, there was no way to live. I know there's a lot of people out there doing the same shit right now, but yeah, just having that little bit of harshness on my side for myself is I respect it. You know what I mean? Because it's what keeps me going. So I need it. So that's why I say it's just like little random spouts of me getting down on myself, which I think is normal. I don't even like to classify it as depression. It's just like a feeling of being a little depressed about where I'm at. But I don't think when you classify depression, I think everybody classifies these disorders and things differently.
Right.
I think that's one of our problems is we're not all on the same page of what it actually is. So that's why there's so much confusion and how to treat it. And you know what I mean? It's like, dude, just go out and walk for 30 minutes. Like I've never met anybody that's upset after a walk. You know what I mean? Like even just going out, because you get to get in your head. The walks really helped me on 75 hard because that was my outdoor workout is I would walk 3 miles a night. Sometimes I'd do 5. And I would just put a podcast in, and then half the time I wouldn't even listen to the fucking podcast. It was just background noise from me working out my own thoughts for 45 minutes or an hour and a half, however long I decided to walk. And having that was a big savior for myself because it really pulled me out. And what I realized this year is I stopped working out. I stopped going to the gym, stopped doing my walks, and for like 2 months, and I started drinking again. And that feeling of like really weighed on me. And so going back into that mode, it really set me back. And so I was like, I had to snap out of it. And there's days I don't want to walk. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to eat good, but I try and force myself as best as I possibly can just because I know what it does for me up here.
That's the old that's the old programming in your subconscious that is trying to reboot and say, hey, I know you like this, but it was so much easier to do this. Remember those days? Like, you know what I'm saying?
And it's always easier. The easiest thing is always going to be the worst for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's something that I've come to learn, especially through the programs that I've been through, my fitness, all that stuff is the easiest things are always going to be the worst because they're easy. You don't get any satisfaction out of the easy shit.
Right.
You get satisfaction out of, damn, I could have gone this route, this nice, cool fucking 1-level path. But I decided to go up the fucking mountain instead, to reach that point. And you just get so much more growth out of doing the hard shit. And you figure out a lot about yourself. A lot of people don't want to do that because it is hard. But what they don't realize is the worth is there. So you're going up this mountain, but your worth is up here.
Right.
Staying on this easy coasting path, your worth is down here. You know what I mean? Like you're not getting any benefit out of it.
Did you ever go through the materialistic stage where you would buy things thinking it would make you feel a certain way?
Oh, yeah.
And then you would get that and you would feel that way. And then all of a sudden someone else would get something better or different, and you're like, well, fuck.
Now keeping up with the Joneses
Now
type
I gotta
thing.
go get that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's like, because I sold drugs for a little bit, allegedly. So like I had some money to play with, you know what I mean? And it was cool to like go out to the fancy dinners, you know, go to the nice hotels for the weekend, you know what I mean? Go and not live with the care and, you know, stunt on Instagram. Oh, look at my life, just like everybody else, you know, look at me.
Right.
And it felt good because people would be like, damn, that's sick or whatever.
Comments, just a comment.
You just comment, even just a like. You're like,
Yeah,
that's right, you saw it, you know, like, and it's a really egotistical thing to do.
right.
And we're all at the surface level. We are all an ego-driven creature. We want people to look at us and admire us, you know, respect us and things like that. And so I think where it's gone is because of that whole one-upping thing with that. People put way too much stock into what they have and what they can portray themselves to be rather than actually who they are.
I actually don't know how much insurance was when I was younger because I never had it. I just drove on fake insurance cards and I stolen tags.
Dude, for years, I got my truck impounded in San Jose. I was working in downtown San Jose, and the school police, because I was right next to the university there, school police pulled me over and fucking impounded my shit because I didn't have a license. I didn't have a registration. I had no insurance. So they impounded my shit. And I rode dirty for a long time. Now I don't miss a fucking registration.
Bro, I got insurance on fucking everything, dude.
Yeah.
Well, shit, dude, do you have anything to say to anybody listening to right now that is struggling with a dependency, you know, with an addiction that is like, fuck, dude, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to make the change. What kind of mental state does someone have to be in? Like how did you get to this point where you're at? Because obviously, like I said, you're at a different level than most people, especially for your age that I talk to.
Yeah.
And you can tell just by your mannerisms, the way you talk, the way, you know, you discuss things, and it's like, oh shit, you know what? This guy's got his shit together.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, I don't know fully, just from what we've talked about.
Yeah.
So don't get all too happy.
I got a chub. Yeah.
But what would you like? What's, you know, someone going through the same shit that you've gone through in life, and how do they get in that mindset?
My saving grace for me, especially battling addiction and going through all that stuff, was my environment, changing my environment. So when I got sober, I literally dropped all my friends. So when I was 18, and then when I got sober again, you know, with the alcohol and stuff like that, I literally, you know, I didn't drop all my friends because they're people I've known for a long time and I have history with them, but I keep people at arm's length. You know what I mean? Because it's you're a product of your environment. So if you're hanging out with these people that are still doing the same shit that you were going to do, you're going to fall back into it. And that's just a fact. It doesn't matter if it's a month, a year, 2 years, 5 years. If you're still around that same type of environment, you're going to fall back into it. And there's nothing you can do about it because we are a product of environment and we get worn down, you know, over time. And some people are strong enough to last those years, but eventually it's going to get you. So you really, if you really want to make a change, then why are you going to put yourself back in the same situation that you were just in, that you're trying to escape from? You know, it doesn't make any sense. So you really have to evaluate that. And I would honestly express reading some self-help books, because, dude, I'm reading Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill right now, and it's literally changing my life. It's a ridiculous book, and the concept of the book is basically he's interviewing the devil. So it's like a podcast with the devil, and this is written in like 1938. Like,
oh shit,
yeah, this is like a long time ago. Napoleon Hill, you know, and he wrote Think and Grow Rich, which I haven't read yet, but
I'm not a big book guy, dude.
No.
Like, I'm more. I would need the audio version,
and that's fine too. But because you still get the worth out of it, you know. The words is really the worth. I like reading the book because it kind of sets me aside from the screen and the technology and stuff like that. I get to sit down and read a book, you know, put my phone on D&D and just kind of coast, you know.
Lens crafters gave me glasses now.
Oh, so
I'm not trying to read shit.
You're like, I'm not wearing these fucking things.
Fucking like,
yep.
Fuck, dude. No, I'm cool. I'll do the audio version, but.
Yeah,
So
check it out.
self-help. What's cool about the self-help too is like you're getting a point of like perspective point of view from outside, that from a person a specialist who deals with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
who's gone through it and on a daily basis or something, you get like a whole new vantage point of like, oh fuck, like maybe even put things in perspective.
Yeah, people outside your norm. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Out of your element, out of your society, out of your like here's an upper class dude maybe, that puts his pinky up when he drinks, but he tells the story and you're like,
fancy.
oh shit, like damn, now that he put it like this, like shit, okay.
Yeah.
Might hit differently.
And it does. The first book I read on 75 Hard was Extreme Ownership by Jocko, because that's the thing, is you have to read a book on 75 Hard. So you have to read 10 pages a day. And I read Extreme Ownership, and then I read The Dichotomy of Leadership, which was monumental in my life. It changed my perspective on life completely. They're great books. You should definitely check out the audiobooks if you haven't listened to them or read any of them. Obviously, you don't want to read, so.
I just have to get structured in my life.
Yeah.
To get into that whole.
And I was never a reader either and what I realized too is if I don't like a book, I'll put it down and I'll go find something else I do like. Even if I bought the book. It's like I have a ton of books that I've read 50 pages of and I'm like, this isn't for me. I started reading Ray Dalio. He's like a billionaire. One of his books. And I think it was called Principles. And I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't.
I have Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I 10 pages in and I'm like, God, this is
dry, Well, what was cool about Jocko's book is he outlines in both his books, he outlines his time in the SEALs and something that he took away from there, and then he applies it to business.
Oh, okay.
Like the fundamental, like the rule that he learned, in war,
right? And
then applies it like how you can apply it into business, because obviously
the civilian world,
100%. And so that was cool for me because I get a little bit of action. And then I get, the fundamental of how to apply it and why it's so important, And so it goes through that. Him and Leif wrote the book. So it was cool to read. And that really made me a fan of him, reading those books, just hearing those experiences. And I've read, I think, 3 of his books now. Okay. Just those little things help, to go through and quantify some of the more, mechanical things in life, and it's weird to gain a new perspective out of a book. It was weird for me because I was never a reader. I was the same way. I was like, fuck it. If it's not an audiobook, then I'm not listening to it. I listened to like 5 of Corey Taylor books on audiobook, but I felt like after reading books now, I felt like I didn't retain the information as well as when I actually open up the book and read it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like something about reading the pages or the words on the pages, it just resonated with me more than listening to it. It's like even today I'll listen to certain podcasts and I'll listen to them 14 fucking times just to make sure that it's cemented. Like, ooh, I like this episode. It's only 30 minutes. I could listen to it all day, But reading the books was helpful in advancing like my perspective on life. But going back to the whole, getting sober thing, it's the reason why that controversy happened with that post on the addiction being a choice and not a disease is I think that it's a cop-out to say that an addiction is a disease because it lets people feel like they don't have a choice. Oh, I have a disease. There's nothing I can do about it. And I think that's fucking wrong. And people get mad at me like, I get it. It alters the chemistry of your brain. And there's some real dependencies, physical dependencies on certain substances, especially heroin, that people go through, withdrawals, things like that. I mean, even on meth, I went through tons of withdrawal, and not as severe as heroin, of course. But I think it just is a scapegoat to call it a disease, and allowing people to call it a choice and telling people it's a choice, it gives them the power back, saying you have the power to make the decision to get sober, because the only way you're ever going to get sober is to make that decision. There's nothing anybody could have done in the height of my addictions to force me to stop. It had to be me. You know what I mean? And people don't like to hear that because it puts the accountability back to them. And you look at rehab centers. Have you ever had a friend that went to rehab and then they get out and they go right back to fucking using?
Right.
I've had tons of friends that do that. You know what I mean? Because they weren't ready. They didn't want to quit. They were forced into rehab either by the court system or their family, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Somebody has to be prepared and ready to stop.
They said if you don't, you're going to get cut off. So they're like, all right, I'm gone. Go do it. And then I'm
90 days and then back to the same shit.
Back to the same shit.
Yeah. It's the accountability. You have to be able to realize that we are in more control of our own lives than we've ever been taught or think. We get to make the decision. It's my decision to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym, or 2 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym, or go to the gym the night before work. You know what I mean? It's my decision. And the reason I make the decision is because I know tomorrow it's going to make me better for it, you know? And it's the same thing with addiction. You keep using, there's nobody holding a gun to my head going, here, smoke this, you know? It was something I wanted to do. And then when I got to the point where I knew I needed to stop, it was something that I wanted, you know? It wasn't.
Well, I think, because like for me, my addiction wasn't a choice because I didn't know I was addicted. I think once you realize you have an addiction, then it becomes a choice.
Yeah.
But up until the fact of me realizing that I had a problem, I was getting prescribed medication from a doctor.
And that's the worst.
It was justified. This is coming from a dude that went to school. This is a VA employee. I'm a veteran. I'm getting help. Like this is, so that's what, because I remember when you posted that, I was going to comment, but I was like, you know what? I think this is more than something just to comment on an Instagram post.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where I have just oh, there he goes. You know, but I think that, like I said, for me, addiction, I didn't know I was addicted.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting pills. I was taking them as prescribed.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't realize I had the addiction until I realized I wasn't taking the pills for pain. I was taking it because it was time to take it.
Habit.
It was just habit.
Yep.
And at 9 o'clock in the morning, if I hadn't taken that pill, I was like fucking body aches I couldn't sit still, and I'm like, fuck. And then as soon as I put that pill on my tongue, it was like, oh my God, like fucking gravy train. It was all, and that's when I realized, what the
You're conditioned.
fuck?
Yeah.
And that's where I say that I think that addiction can be a disease, but I feel that it's a choice once you realize that you have an issue.
Well, and what I always argue back, like, so I respect the science to a certain degree on it, because we all know how science goes. I mean, we understand that science disproves itself every 10 years. You know what I mean? They're constantly finding. I mean, look at what they're doing with the Norcos. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not prescribing Norcos anymore because they understand how addictive they really are, and they really destroy your body.
So glad I went through the time where they were dishing them out like candy, though.
Dude, we used to have bags of those things when I was in high school. There was just, I mean, literally, you get 100 of them for cheap, you know. And now, it's like they're on triplicate. They're very reluctant to prescribe them these days.
Pain management.
You
can't even go to the doctor. You got to go to pain management to get shit.
You have to have a second opinion. You have to see a specialist, and it's because they've realized, and they won't ever publicize this, but it's because they realized that it's destroying people's lives.
They've already made billions on it. They don't need to dish it out anymore.
Yeah, trillions. Now they've got the new drugs that they're trying to push.
That's what I'm saying. They don't need to push that anymore because it's already worked.
100%.
Now they're on the whole vaccine and all this other shit that they've got. And
which that's a whole other subject.
Yeah, we could probably go for another fucking hour and a half just on that shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing is once you realize that you have the control, and the only way that you'll ever escape that control is by your decision, it gives you the power. Like I said, it gives you back the power to make the decision. And then once you have that accountability, when you're not taking those steps, you can blame yourself.
Right.
You know, right now we have a system where we get to blame everybody else. Oh, the doctor gave them to me. You know what I mean? Oh, I have to take them because of my injuries. You know, we're blaming everything but ourselves.
That was me.
100%. And it happens. But once you come to that realization, like you said, you know, you're like,
wait, I don't even have pain. Why am I taking this?
Yeah. And what it does too, especially the pain meds, it conditions your body to have those instead of actually coping with it. Your body is capable of coping with pain, a certain level of pain. Obviously, we need to be able to feel pain to know if something's wrong.
Well, taking that pill gives you a feeling, though, that it's not just the helping of your body, it's that feeling you get.
Yeah, it's security,
right?
Because it's helped you, you know, in a time where you need, like, so you think back 15 years ago, 20 years ago, they were prescribing Norcos, they were only giving you 5 or 10. Then it got to where you're getting a month's supply. You know what I mean? Like, so they're like, oh man, people are eating these things up.
Then 3 months.
And then you're getting 3 month scripts. Yeah, and it's like, why? Why do they do that? Why? Because they want your money. They want your, you know, they want you to be, you know, less than.
Right.
You know, they want you to be under the control of it. Because it's easier to control.
Appreciate you coming by and telling that story and and dropping a few words of wisdom to those out there listening. And
I appreciate you for having me out here, man.
yeah, no, hopefully at least one person can benefit from hearing the story and say, hey, I'm going through the same shit.
Well, and that's honestly, that's been my whole outlook on social media. If I can help one person, and it's super cool when I get like a DM that's like, damn, like, you know what, you know, this post really helped me today. I'm like, you know,
right.
My job is done today.
Wait till tomorrow.
Yeah. Wait till you see what I got planned for tomorrow.
Right.
But no, seriously, like that's, you know, when I get into these conversations with some of these people, that's what it's all about. That one person, helping that one person.
Right.
That's all I care about. And then if I can help that one person, then I'm going to move on to maybe the next person. You know what I mean? And I'm going to do that as long as I possibly can, as long as I've got breath in my lungs. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what it's about, because I know when I needed help, I didn't have anybody. And I also would never turn to anybody. So it's nice for people to know there's somebody out there that's willing to listen at least, you know?
Right.
So,
What I posted something, what did it say? You are perfectly suited to help the struggling person you once were and overcame.
100%, because you're the only person
You've been there.
You've been there. You've come out of it. Yeah, you're forged in the fire.
So why is it so hard for people to share advice, help other people, share posts,
Yeah.
share businesses, share?
Well, and that's what's crazy is like you listen to a lot of these people, and they like, dude, your story is more powerful than you'll ever fucking believe, because that's what's going to help people is seeing that you went through the struggles,
Right.
and you're coming out on top now, you know, and
Right.
and you've changed your life, and it is possible. You know, I never thought it was possible when I was in the thick of it, and I know there's a million other people out there that think just like I do. You know,
Do you think the hardest part is not knowing where to start?
yeah,
Because this is your normal that you've been living, and you want to live this.
yeah.
But fuck, you don't know how to get over there.
Yeah, and that's the thing is people think that there's a spot to start, and it's not a spot.
Well, it's right here.
100%, one foot in front of the other,
Right.
one day at a time. And they'll tell you that in AA, and I've been to AA and I've been to NA. Never worked for me. I never was able to go through the steps. I
signed my paperwork when I got my DUI.
100%. I did the same shit. I went to 2 meetings and said, fuck this, signed
Right.
the rest of them myself.
Right.
It's just some regular dude signing
They
them.
can't verify shit.
They can't. What are they going to do? Call?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know who was running that meeting. You know?
Anonymous.
Yeah, 100%.
Fucking anonymous,
Exactly.
motherfucker.
Yeah. And so it's like I never took any weight to any of those programs because I didn't believe in it. You know, you have to believe in something, and
Right.
what better to believe in than yourself, right? I mean, you got to start somewhere. Like you said, one foot in front of the other.
Is your page private?
No, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. If you guys have any questions, it's JUS and then
CALL
call me Jeff.
MEJEFF. Yeah.
Okay. So just, not
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
Call me Jeff.
There's a story behind that I'll explain one day, but yeah.
If you guys have any, you know, if you're going through a similar situation, you want to hit him up and pick his brain, or if you have a question, or if you just want to say like, hey, bro, you're super fucking sexy, hit him up. Check out his content. If you are a single dude, trust me, you won't be let down. This guy is surrounded by mates out there. So check him out.
Mhm.
Appreciate you stopping by, brother, and hopefully your story gets out to somebody that it can impact.
I hope so too. Right on. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.